Hi students, and this lesson is on Franklin D. Roosevelt and his New Deal program. He gets elected into office by promising the American people a change from the previous President Herbert Hoover. He says he is going to grant a new deal for the American people, and if they agree for him to be president and vote him into office, then he will get right to work as soon as he gets there. In his first 100 days in office, he puts Congress to work and he passes many programs that their goal is to provide assistance to American people who are out of work. Just a quick reminder on how to view these flipped lessons so that you can get the most out of them. You need to watch the video without looking at the notes. And yes, this means listening. Make sure that you are listening as well as watching. Look at the notes and see if you can complete any without watching again. So real quick, just look at your paper, see anything you remember from the video. These are things that you may not or may not have to study later on. And then finally, if you do need to go back and watch one more time, go back and watch again as you complete the notes and pause as necessary. Franklin D. Roosevelt used the term New Deal to describe the programs he supported to end the Great Depression. His role in the federal government is unprecedented. It's a very new style than what the American people are used to. During the Great Depression, people are having trouble finding work or making ends meet, and he promised federal government help for people to get jobs. And he had many plans on how to do this. I'm going to briefly go over a few of the programs he implemented. This is nowhere near all of them. So we have what's called the alphabet agencies, or FDR's alphabet soup is often a joke that is made about his agencies. Every single one has an abbreviated name or an acronym. So at first he comes up with some federal work programs. He created jobs in public works projects such as roads and bridges. So he would hire people and the government would pay them to fix bridges, build roads, repair roads, anything out in public like that. Overall, the WPA, or the Works Progress Administration, which is just one federal work program, built 850 airports, 651,000 miles of roads and streets, and 125,000 public buildings. The WPA also hired artists, writers, and photographers to create art. Some you might see walking around in DC. There's some WPA murals on buildings or things like that. And they were paid to make these public repairs and to help out society. Another one of FDR's programs is the Farm Assistance Program. If you remember from previous Great Depression lessons in class, there's a problem with overproduction. And on the farms, overproduction ends up driving the cost of food down. And so the farmers are losing money. So the Farm Assistance Program pays farmers to leave some of their land unplanted to reduce the overproduction of crops. So the federal government will pay farmers to leave certain fields empty so that this overproduction is reduced and drives prices back up. And the example I have for you is the AAA, or the Agricultural Adjustment Administration. Notice that the acronym has the first letter of each word. More of the alphabet agencies focus on environmental improvement programs. This is another aspect of Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal that we are going to discuss. The environmental improvement programs provide jobs to improve national parks, plant trees, or other conservation activities. One example is the CCC, or the Civilian Conservation Corps. In this agency, only young men could work. It only hired guys, not women. And men would go improve national parks, or they would plant trees on the Great Plains to help prevent erosion from some of the farmland. The next one we're going to discuss is increased rates for labor. We've learned that a labor union is a group of workers who are trying to increase their rights. So as part of increased rights for labor, Franklin D. Roosevelt was able to get Congress to pass a minimum wage law. This is the first one of its kind in American history. And he also got other laws passed that helped labor unions. And one of the examples of these laws is this act, the National Labor Relations Act, or the NLRA. The last alphabet agency we're going to discuss is Social Security. Now, this is one that you may have heard of since it is still around today. The New Deal has a lot of lasting impacts into the 20th century and really changes the way that the government is involved in Americans' lives. This was a new program created to give government payments to retired workers, widows, and children of workers who die, and disabled people who are unable to work. It provides them government benefits so that they don't have to work or they're not out on the streets or exclusively relying on family members to take care of them. This program initially was supposed to end and not last as long as it has. But Social Security is one that you may be familiar with today. And you can see a picture of a Social Security card in the bottom corner of the presentation. The New Deal has many short-term impacts and long-term impacts during the 1930s. It was a reaction to the Great Depression, and Franklin D. Roosevelt decided that the government needed to act and get involved. His predecessor, Herbert Hoover, who was president when the stock market crashed, went for a much more hands-off approach. He believed that the economy would resolve itself. No one's right and no one's wrong here. It's just two different schools of opinion. So here are some impacts of FDR's New Deal, and then I'll let you decide for yourself if his programs were right or not. He helped many people by creating jobs and giving hope. Through those alphabet agencies and other programs, many people had jobs during the Great Depression, which they would not have otherwise. It gave people hope for the future. He also took on a bigger role of the federal government in American life, which ends up raising taxes to fund new programs. It allows the government to have more control over its people and much less hands-off approach. People also have to pay higher taxes to fund all of these public programs. The New Deal actually does not end the Great Depression. While some people have jobs and now there's hope, the Great Depression does not end until the economic boost of World War II. Once we start helping out the Allied forces in World War II, our economy gets a gigantic boost by providing war materials and manufacturing. And so that is what actually pulls us out of the Great Depression. It is not the New Deal. So what do you think? Oh wait, I'm going to go back one slide just so you can get the stuff with the webcam off. So hold on one second. Pause at this moment if you need to get the rest of these down before continuing on to the last slide. So what do you think? Was the New Deal a success or not, and why? Make sure you meet the sentence requirements that are on your paper. Should FDR have taken this path of these alphabet agencies and creating programs to help people, or should he have gone with Herbert Hoover's more hands-off approach? You decide. There's no right or wrong answer. Just let me know what you think. And that's all I have for you today on FDR's New Deal. So come to class ready to discuss and apply this information.